Alright YouTube, I really hate when this happens. This video is going to be quick because I've actually made this video just a minute ago. It was about, I don't know, a good 15 minutes in. I was about to wrap it up and look down and realized the camera wasn't recording anymore because the memory card was full. So, new memory card in. I'm going to speed through this because it's freezing cold over here. It's January 22nd in Richmond, Virginia. The temperature's probably about 15 degrees. Actually, let me look it up on my phone and see exactly what it is. I've been outside riding around. If you keep up with any of my videos, I just made a video of riding this Polaris around outside. Wants a little bit of ice, showing that it runs and stuff. Yeah, 16. It's supposed to be a low of 8, so it's getting cold. I don't have any heat on it in here in the shop, so I'm ready to go. But alright, so this video, I'm going to start off by saying that some of you are going to be upset, and at the end I really don't want you to get to the point where you're going to leave a comment saying that thanks for wasting my time, or I just wasted 20 minutes of my life watching your stupid video. But because I'm going to tell you right now, the problem that I'm going to tell you that I fixed is not a problem that you're probably going to have with your shifting. But I'm going to go through what I changed, and then at the end I'll tell you what the actual problem was. So if if you're going to get upset because I waste your time, chances are you might want to turn the video off, because the problem that I had fixing my shift issue is not the same problem you're going to have, and I can almost guarantee it. But you never know. But along the way of me explaining it, you might find something that might fix yours. Basically, we've got the 2002 Honda Rancher 350. It's got the electric shift. So you shift by pushing these two buttons here. It actually has, down at the bottom, a shaft right there. If you put a 12mm socket on it, you can manually shift to make sure it works. I bought this thing 5 months ago, I guess, back in September. It's January. Cleaned the carburetor, got it to run, pushed the buttons to shift, it wouldn't do anything. Used the manual lever down there, or not manual shaft with a socket wrench on it. It would shift no problem. The gears would pop up on here. It would go from neutral to 1 or 2, whatever I shifted it into with the wrench. So the thing still runs decent. Like I said before, it would always start up the same. Starts right up. Did that before. As soon as we got it, cleaned the carburetor, no problem, but it wouldn't shift. So I kind of piddled around with it some, and then left it parked over in the side with all this other junk, and then would mess with it some and couldn't figure it out. Not too long after that, I bought a Recon, Honda Recon. It's like an 01 model, the 250. It's back over here. Got some other stuff piled up on it, but it's down there. That had a bad top end, which the motor is here. Now this one also was electric shift. So I started messing with it, and I pulled off shifter motor, and I pulled off the angle sensor, which I'll show you what the angle sensor looks like, and then I'll show you where they are. That's the front of the motor. Let's see here. This is what an angle sensor looks like. This angle sensor has 3 plugs on the inside, and it's got a little piece of metal there. Basically, they are located in the very front. So looking at this Recon, or this Rancher, down in here you can see the motor stuck in the front. That's the shift motor, and then just below it with the gray plug, that's the angle sensor. And I'll take you over here to this motor, which is same setup. You got this cover goes here, and right here is where the starter motor plugs in. It's got 2 holes for the bolts, and then you got the angle sensor goes right there to 2 bolts. Now the Recon, which this came off of, had a shorter plug, but what I did once I got the Recon, the ECU looked the same, so I took the ECU off the Recon, which is the computer. ECU is that box hanging right there. Alright, it's basically the computer, and it looks like this. one right here. Now this one's not off the Recon. This is actually from another rancher. I'll explain that in a minute. It's got 2 plugs. That's the computer. So I took the computer from the Recon, put it on the rancher. Didn't make a difference. I took the angle sensor off that Recon motor over there on the bench. That didn't make a difference. I took the starter motor from the Recon, put it on there. Even though the plug was shorter, I just held it. I actually put a cable or jumper cable to it and grounded it because I didn't know if it had to be grounded or not. Didn't make much difference, but I did think it turned once, but I wasn't sure because it wouldn't do it again. So basically I was stuck at that point. Didn't know which one it would be. Looking online, if you type in rancher shift problems, you're going to get a bunch of different answers. Control might be a problem. The shift motor might be a problem. You can see it right there. And then below was the angle sensor or the ECU. And then some other people say it's the gear shift selector, which is actually back here at the back of the motor. And that tells it what gear it's in up here on the dash. So it could be any of those problems. Well, about 2 weeks ago on Craigslist, I found a guy in North Carolina, which is, I'm in Virginia, so just down south. He was about 2.5 hours away. He had a bunch of Recon stuff, or I keep saying Recon, rancher stuff. I did use the Recon parts over there, but rancher. He had rancher stuff for sale. And I made a previous video showing what all I got. I got this bottom end, this bucket of parts with like the air filter, got a front differential over there, steering column, gas tank, some plastic. I got another dash like that one. And actually this cover is from Elizabeth City. The dash is the original. I got another ECU, all electronics. Here's the there's a wiring harness, but I had basically that's where I got the other ECU. The shift motor was on the bottom end over there. The angle sensor was on the bottom end over there, and controls, all that stuff. This is the dash. This dash is from the Elizabeth City Bob, but that cover that's frosted over, that's off my rancher. I switched that over last night. So basically I bought all that stuff for $200, and I was like, alright, so I had everything I needed in order to replace everything on this one to see if I could figure out the shift issue. First thing I did was I took the ECU. This ECU in this box is, actually I said it was from Elizabeth City. This is the one from this rancher. So the one that's on there underneath that, just above that back wheel is, that's the one from Elizabeth City. Plug that in, didn't make a difference. Wouldn't shift. Alright, so then I took the controls. These are the controllers from my rancher. Took those off. The ones that are on there now are from Elizabeth City. Didn't make a difference. So then I went ahead and changed the angle sensor. Didn't make a difference. Then I went ahead and changed starter motor. Didn't make a difference. So I changed basically everything you could change. I didn't change the gear shift, gear select sensor, or anything with reverse at that point. So I came over, I had some time, so I actually came over here. I printed out the flow chart to figure out the problems, and if you go online you can find a free manual, but basically it's this flow chart, and it says if it's normal, move to this one. If it's abnormal, this is what the problem is. So I started going down that, and it had me testing the ECU basically first, making sure you had power to different places and different ranges of resistance for the angle sensor, and all that stuff seemed normal. And I got to the point where it said check the gears inside the motor where the starter motor goes. Basically, I'll show you on this one over here because I got the gears all pulled out. Basically, behind the starter motor you have this cover. Cover goes here, and then inside the cover you got this shaft, which this goes on, and then this gear goes in the middle, and then this gear actually goes there, and the starter motor pops through there. Alright, so it said to check all these gears and make sure they were fine. So I just read that, and a friend of ours from down the way came in, and he was standing here, And I had noticed that when it was on, key was on, if I hit the button, you could hear the motor spinning, the starter motor, or the shift motor down at the bottom, trying to shift gears. And you do it once or twice and it would stop. Turn the key off, turn it back on, hit the button, it'd make the noise again once or twice, then it would stop. Well, he heard it also, and he was like, well, it kind of sounds like it's not making contact with anything. So I was like, oh, I just read that in the manual, you know, to check out the gears and stuff. So he got busy and left. I pulled the motor off, where the gears are, off the starter shift motor, pull that off, pull the cover off, and if you notice, there's only really 4 bolts that hold it on. Here, and I believe it was a 12 millimeter. Pull those out. These 2 actually hold the starter on. So pull the starter rack off. Starter motor. I keep saying it. Not starter. The gear shift motor. Pull the gear shift motor off. Pull the cover off. And none of these gears were in there. That's what the problem was. This gear was missing. This gear was missing. And even this little gear that actually touches the gear shift motor, that was missing. So I went over here to the Elizabeth City motor that I just picked up. You can see the cover's actually still there. Pulled the cover off, pulled all the gears out of the inside of there, slapped those in this motor here, put everything back together, put the shift motor back on, put the angle sensor back on, turned the key on, started it up, and actually I don't even know if I started it. I at least had it here to neutral, and I hit the button and it wouldn't do anything. See, now it shifts, but earlier it wouldn't shift. Alright, well, first time I tried it after putting those gears in there, it didn't shift. So we turned it off, turned it back on, and then it started working. Pushed the button and it shifted. So a long story short, and then, like I said, the reason why my issue is probably different than yours, at some point somebody working on this damn bike, this four-wheeler, went in there and took the gears out behind the shift motor. I have no clue why they would have taken it off and put it all back together. When I got this bike, the shift motor was in place, just like it is. Angle sensor was there, everything was tight. I don't know why they would just put it all back together and leave the gears out. I mean, I guess maybe they knew what they had to get back to it or something and never did, but, well, all those other pieces were replaced for no reason, because that was what the problem was. Which isn't a big deal. So now I got parts I'm going to sell on eBay. I'm going to be listing the ECU and starter motor and the angle sensor and all that stuff. All the stuff I got from Elizabeth City that I didn't need or I don't need. I got the bottom end motor parts and stuff. So it's not a big deal at all. But and I've actually been able to use stuff like the dash and all the parts that are on here that are replaced. They're all from Elizabeth City. That the parts that I picked up from there. So it all worked out. So I'll go ahead and show you, which I just did a video of riding it some, and when I was riding it, the thing didn't want to shift right once, but I was holding the camera with one hand, trying to give it gas and trying to shift with the hand with the camera, so it was probably just the way I was trying to ride it. But I'll go ahead and the gas is turned off, and actually this thing's been leaking gas, probably out of gas now. I'll go ahead and do it anyway. I'm going to turn the gas on. Alright, so it's running. I'll rev it up a little. Keep going a little bit. It's so cold out here. That's with no choke. Alright, I'm just going to show that it is fixed now. So we're in gear. It's in first. I'm going to push the down button, take it back to neutral. So anyway, it is working. So if you are having an issue with your shifting, I'll take you basically what I would do is probably print off the manual and go down the flow chart and see if you can figure it out. I was hesitant because I didn't really want to do all that. I wanted to just replace stuff and fix it. But one other thing, once I did get it to shift, it wouldn't go into reverse, and what it ended up being is kind of a poor design, but down here behind that boot, there's a wire, and you're not going to be able to see it. There's a wire that plugs in to a sensor. And there's two sensors over here. I actually replaced the wrong one first. Right there is a sensor. That's not the one. So that's actually like a heat sensor, or a temperature sensor. Below the boot here, there's a reverse sensor, and that one, I'll show you on this motor over here. That one has a plug right there. That plug, and you can see that sensor right there. That's where it plugs onto. And there's the boot. So it's kind of just below the boot, below the pull start housing. That had come loose. Plug that in, and then I had a reverse. So if you are searching, trying to figure out your problems for your rancher and it's not shifting, you can go down the checklist, checking all the voltage and the resistance and all that stuff. The parts that I've replaced, and pretty much all the parts that go along with the shifting for the electric shift, that doesn't include the interior motor parts, the gears or the actual clutch plates or anything, but you've got the controls here, the controls, you've got the ECU, which is the computer back there, you've got the reverse sensor, which I just showed you, which is underneath the boot. You also got, going in by the pull start, you've got a gear select sensor, which tells the dash what gear it's in. You've got the shift motor down here, and just below it you've got the angle sensor. Those are pretty much most of the parts for the electric shift. A lot of times looking online you see that the ECU or the angle sensor is the problem. So I didn't really see a full video showing all the different issues, so I figured I'd make a quick video of what my problem was, which most likely, as you can probably figure out by now, is different than your problem, because I was actually missing gears inside the motor. They weren't torn up, they were just missing. So but anyway, hopefully the video helps somebody, or if I wasted your time, I'm sure you'll let me know. But anyway, problem fixed for the shifting, electric shift from this rancher. Now I just got to get it all put back together, get the plastics back on, and figure out why my carburetor keeps leaking. I think it's probably leaking gas right now. I'll put the hose down and see. Actually, the hose is down. It's not leaking yet. Usually this drain hose leaks all over the place. But alright, thanks for watching Big Drum's Garage. Rate, subscribe, comment, whatever. Hope you have a good night. Stay warm. I know most of the East Coast and the Midwest is freezing cold tonight. Schools around here have been closed for the last couple of days, and we didn't get a whole lot of snow. We ended up being a couple, maybe 2 to 3 inches, but roads are covered with ice. Anyway, have a good one, and check back later on. Check out some of the other videos. Like I just said, I think at the beginning of this video I've got these 2 Polarises that I just got going and made a video of those as well. Have a good night. I'm going to head home and get warm, and catch you next time.